Hi there, my name's Dani Catania and I've been a dietitian now for the last 15 years. And I don't know about you, but I became a dietitian because I really wanted to impact someone's health through better nutrition choices. And it became clear to me over the first couple of years that I entered the profession that I was starting to become a bit disillusioned by what the profession offered and the amount of impact that I could actually have. I worked my way and built 3 inner city private practices in inner city Melbourne. And I also worked my way up into elite sport. So I was a consultant dietitian for the Victorian Institute of Sport. I worked with the St Kilda Football Club. I worked with Melbourne Victory and a number of other elite sporting clubs. And in both settings, over time, I started to feel a bit disillusioned of the impact that I could have. In the private setting, I saw a lot of people who wanted help with weight loss or moving through a stubborn weight loss plateau. I saw a lot of people who wanted to improve their energy levels, sleep better, resolve gut issues. In the sports sense, I saw a lot of athletes who wanted to improve their recovery and back up after each session better, be able to go and achieve incredible things, whether it was break world records or achieve gold of the Olympics. And what I found in that space was that, again, whether it was being able to achieve better body composition for the aesthetics of their sport, whether it was being able to improve their fueling tactics and their recovery to again allow them to keep progressing. I saw a lot of athletes that had performance plateaus that really weren't able to break through. And what I saw in both settings was that I was only ever able to help people achieve about 50% of what they wanted to in most cases. Occasionally a little bit more, but most of the time I was getting increasingly frustrated by the limitations of what I felt like I had in my toolbox. And so, and I always felt like I was missing something. Was it chemicals that they were being exposed to? Was it something in the water? Was it hormone challenges that we were missing? What was it that it was where they were just plateaued with whichever sort of type of advice or with any recommendation that I could provide. And with a lot of the times I started to feel guilty, especially in private practice, where people were paying me for my time week in, week out, and my toolbox increasingly diminished. And I felt like I was kind of sitting on my hands and just hoping that over time their challenges would resolve, which of course, that's a bit like putting rotten bananas under the blanket and hoping that, or under the carpet and hoping that they go away and resolve themselves. They don't. They just fester. And so that's how I felt in my practice. The other thing on a financial side, and I don't know if you can relate to this as well, but I often felt like I had challenges with my cash flow. So I had certain months which were really good months where I felt like obviously people wanted to see a dietitian and the referrals were strong. But then there were other times where they were quieter months. So whether it was midwinter, or whether it was around Christmas or New Year when people weren't interested in seeing a dietitian. And then I often found in January, because of that spend over Christmas, people had less money for kind of luxuries like going to see a dietitian. And then it would kind of pick up in February. So around those times of the year, I often fell into a bit of a heap because I still had bills to pay. My rent still came out for the practices and the spaces that I owned or I took up. And what I found was that I was getting increasingly stressed over finances. And each year I'd have this, do I want to do this all over again? And my husband would call it the annual dietitian meltdown, or I was always questioning, is this really what it is? Is this everything? What have I missed? 8 years ago, everything changed. I came across a system called Isagenix, or a company called Isagenix, and they offered a system of nutrition products that were able to do, it really changed the game for me on a number of levels. Let's talk about it from a nutrition point of view for the first part. Number one, it allowed me to be able to recommend quality nutrition in a really convenient form. So whether that was nourishing smoothies, being able to help improve someone's performance and their recovery, being able to help fuel an athlete, whether it was able to help someone move through a weight loss plateau, whether it was able to help someone have better energy levels, or even just have some more protein at breakfast when it mattered most. It allowed me to do that. Number two, it allowed me to help, and kind of in part of that, it allowed me to also provide quality nutrition that was able to alleviate some micronutrient deficiencies or minor deficiencies, which perhaps wouldn't have shown up in a test, but were definitely in the background. So things like zinc or magnesium, some of those kind of spark plugs of life that really help people feel their best, perform at their best, be able to keep challenging themselves, especially in an exercise and a training setting. So we were able to do that all in one kind of foul swoop. We were able to employ the tactics of nutritionally supported intermittent fasting and use that as a bit of a strategy for whether it was moving through a stubborn weight loss plateau, whether it was able to help someone move through a performance plateau, be able to come back and train harder and at greater intensities. The best part about it was that we have a nutrition system or nutrition protocol that really supports someone. So we're able to drop their calories to classify as an intermittent fast, but provide that nutrition over the day so that they never feel like they're sort of looking for something. And we have much better compliance when we use our system of nutritionally supported intermittent fasting in that space. I was also then able to harness the power of adaptogens, which previously, as a dietitian, if you're a nutritionist watching this, you'll probably feel like you're in the same space. That adaptogens or herbs, if you like, it tends to be outside the scope of a dietitian or a nutritionist. It tends to be more in the space of a naturopath or a Chinese herbalist. And all of a sudden now we've got products that we can recommend that contain very powerful, very effective adaptogens that can help someone, whether it's from improving their energy, improving their sleep, improving their tolerance to stress, being able to help them to push harder, concentrate, focus longer, improve their stamina and exercise. All of a sudden now we've got access to all of these tools. So for me, it was just like adding so many more tools to my toolkit. And like I said right at the start, for me, it was all about convenience. This system is like having a dietitian, a naturopath, a Chinese herbalist, an Ayurvedic specialist, all in the same box, and it just arrives, it's delivered to that person's door, and all they have to do is follow the system, and it works. When we get all of those things right, it's like lining up all your ducks in line or in a row. I've never been really good at cliches, but you know what I mean. It's really like ticking all the boxes in one big box. So for me, bottom line is now I can get consistent results every single time, and that's been a game changer. I'm confident that I can help anyone, whether they're stuck in a weight loss plateau, whether they have got 50 kilos that they need to lose, whether it's that they're stuck in a performance plateau, whether it's kind of taking their sport or their training to the next level. We have got everything that we need in this one system. And the best part is that I can do it all under a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee, which is huge because, of course, if you've worked in the private practice space, you'll know that offering that kind of thing we can't. It's impossible, right? Because it's obviously they're paying for our time, and fingers crossed that we can actually affect some change for that person. So there you have it. That is why I recommend Isagenix. In just one last thing that I want to say about that from a financial point of view as well, because this is really important, is that it has been able to provide an additional income stream for me based on my recommendations. They're products that I would willingly recommend anyway. The beautiful thing about it though is that we earn some commissions based on our recommendations, and that can really add up. That can ease some cash flow issues. I now don't have to worry about busy peak times or flat times. It's really helped me to develop a better financial standing, if you like. And it's also through what this company provides, it's also helped me to improve my financial education, which was always a missing link in my nutrition training. And I'm sure I'm guessing that's probably been the same for you too. So go ahead, take a look at this. If you'd like to chat, please, I'm all ears. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact me. And I can't wait to see you on the other side and what Isagenix can do for your health and also for the people that you serve. Bye for now.